What is up, everybody? This is your man Cowboys Fan 777 here, ready for another creepy storytime video. For episode 4, we are going to be doing none other than Squidward suicide. And we're going to jump right into it, so turn your lights down, keep your volume up, close your curtains, and so we get into some Squidward suicide. I just want to start off by saying, if you want an answer at the end, prepare to be disappointed. There just isn't one. I was an intern at Nickelodeon Studios for a year in 2005 for my degree in animation. It wasn't paid, of course. Most internships aren't, but it did have some perks beyond education. To adults, it might not seem like a big one, but to most kids at the time, it would go crazy over it. Now, since I worked directly with the editors and animators, I got to view new episodes days before they aired. I'll get right to it without giving too many unnecessary details. They had very recently made the SpongeBob movie, and the entire staff was somewhat sapped of creativity, so it took them longer to start the season, but the delay lasted longer for more upsetting reasons. There was a problem with the series 4 premiere, season 4 premiere, that set everyone and everything back for several months. Me and 2 other interns were in the editing room along with the lead animators and sound editors for the final cut. We received the copy for what was supposed to be Fear of Krabby Patty, and gathered around the screen to watch. Now, given that it wasn't final animation, the final animators often put up a mock title card, sort of an inside joke for us, with phoning up and sometimes lewd titles, such as How Sex Doesn't Work instead of Rockabye Bivalve, and SpongeBob and Patrick and Dr. Sea Scallop. Nothing particularly funny, but work-related chuckles. So when we saw the title card Squidward Suicide, we didn't think it more than more of a joke. One of the interns did a small throat laugh at it. The happy-go-lucky music plays as is normal. The story began with Squidward practicing his clarinet, hitting a few sour notes like normal. We hear SpongeBob laughing outside, and Squidward stops, yelling at him to keep it down as he has a concert that night and needs to practice. SpongeBob says okay, and goes to see Sandy with Patrick. The bubble splash screen comes up, and we see the ending of Squidward's concert. This is when things begin to seem really off. While playing, a few frames begin to repeat themselves, but the sound doesn't. At this point, the sound is synced up with animation, so yes, that's not common. But when he stops playing, the sound finishes as if the skip never happened. There's slight murmuring in the crowd before they begin to boo him. Not normal cartoon booing that's common in the show, but you can very clearly hear malice in it. Squidward is in full frame and looks physically afraid. The shot goes to the crowd, with SpongeBob in center frame, and he's too boring, and he's too booing. Very much unlike him. That isn't the oddest thing, though. What is odd is everyone had hyper-realistic eyes. Very detailed, clearly not shots of real people's eyes, but something a bit more real than CGI. Pupils were red. Some of us looked at each other, obviously confused, but since we weren't the writers, we didn't question his appeal to children yet. The shot goes to Squidward sitting on the edge of his bed, looking very forlorn. The view out of his porthole window is of a night sky, so it isn't very long after the concert. The unsettling part is at this point, there is no sound. Literally, no sound. Not even the feedback from the speakers in the room. It's as if the speakers were turned off, though their status showed them working perfectly. He just sat there blinking in the sounds for about 30 seconds. Then he began to sob softly. He put his hands over his eyes and cried quietly for a full minute more. All the while, the sound in the background very slowly, growing from nothing to barely audible. It sounded like the slight breeze from a forest. The screen very slowly began to zoom in on his face. By slow, I mean it's only noticeable if you look at shots 10 seconds apart, side by side. He's sobbing is louder, more full of hurt and anger. The screen then twitches a bit, as if it twists in on itself, and then for a split second, goes back to normal. The wind through the trees sound gets slowly louder and more severe, as if a storm is brewing somewhere. The eerie part is the sound, and Squidward's sobbing sounded real, as if the sound wasn't coming through from the speakers, but as if the speakers were holes, the sound was coming through from the other side. As good a sound as the studio likes to have, you don't purchase the equipment to be that good to produce sound of that quality. Below the sound of the winning sobbing, very faint, something sounded like laughing. It came at odd intervals, never lasted more than a second, so you had a hard time pinning it. We watched the show twice, some parting with things sound too specific, and I've had time to think about them. After about 30 seconds of this, the screen blurred and twitched violently, and something had flashed over the screen, as if a single frame was replaced. The lead animation editor paused me throughout frame by frame. What we saw was absolutely horrible. There was a still photo of a dead child. It couldn't have been more than was probably a road. The most upsetting part was that it was the shadow of the photographer. There was no crime page with no evidence tags or markers. The angle was completely off for a shot to be designed, but to get shot with evidence. It would seem the photographer was the person responsible for the child's death. We were, of course, mortified, but pressed on, hoping that was just a sick joke. The screen flipped back to Squidward, still sobbing, louder than before, and half body and frame. There was now what appeared to be blood running down his face from his eyes. The blood was also done in a hyper-realistic style, looking as if you touched it, you'd get blood on your fingers. But when the wind now sounded as if that of a gale blowing through the forest. There were even snapping sounds of branches. The laughing of deep baritone, lasting at longer intervals and coming more frequently. After about 20 seconds, the screen again twisted and showed a single frame photos. The editor was reluctant to go back. We all were, but he knew he had to. This time the photo was that of what appeared to be a little girl, no older than the first child. She was laying on her stomach. Her left eye was too popped out, and popped, naked everything except for underpants. Her barrettes were in a pool of blood next to her. Her entrails were piled on top of her, another crude cut along her back. Again, the body was on the street, and the photographer's shadow was visible. Very similar in size and shape to the first. I had to choke back vomit, and then one intern, the only female in the room, ran out. This show resumed. After about 5 seconds, this photo played. Squidward went silent, as did all sound. It was when the scene started. He put his tentacles down, and his eyes were now done in hyper-realism, just like the others were in the beginning of this episode. They were bleeding, bloodshot, and pulsating. He just stared at the screen, as if watching the mirror. After about 10 seconds, he started sobbing, this time not covering his eyes. The sound was piercing and loud, and the most fear-inducing of all is his sobbing was mixed with his screams. Tears and blood were running down his face at a heavy rate. When the sound came back, and so did the deep voice laughing. This time the photo lasted a good 5 frames. The animator was able to stop it on the fourth and backed up. This time the photo was of a boy, about the same age. This time the scene was different. The entrails were being pulled out from the stomach, wound by a large hand. The right eye popped and dangling, blood trickling down it. The animator proceeded. It was hard to believe, but the next one was different, but we couldn't tell what. He went on to the next. Same thing. He went back to the first and played them quicker, and I lost it. I vomited on the floor. The animating and sound editors gasped me at the screen. The 5 frames were not as if there were 5 different photos. They were played out as if they were frames from a video. We saw the hand slowly lift out the guts. We saw the kid's eyes focus on it. We even saw 2 frames of the kids beginning to blink. The lead sound editor told us to stop. We had to call in the creator to see this. Mr. Hillenberg arrived within about 15 minutes. He was confused as to why he was called down there, so the editor just continued the episode. Once a few frames were shown, while screaming, all sound again stopped. Squidward was just staring at the viewer, full frame of the face for about 3 seconds. This shot quickly panned out. That deep voice said, "Do it!" And we seen Squidward's hand as chakra. He immediately puts the gun in his mouth and pulls the trigger. Realistic blood and brain matter splatters from the wall behind him. When it's red, he flies back with force. The last 5 seconds of the episode show his body on the bed on his side, with one eye dangling from what's left of his head above the floor, and staring blankly at it. Then the episode ends. Mr. Hillenberg is obviously angry at this. He demanded to know what the hell was going on. Most people left the room at this point, so it was just a handful of us to watch it again. Viewing the episode twice only served to imprint the entirety of it in my mind and caused me horrible nightmares. I'm so sorry I stayed. The only theory we could think of was the file was edited by someone in the chain from the drawing studio to here. The CDO wasn't called in to analyze when it happened. The analysis of the file did show it was edited over by new material. However, the timestamp of it was just under 24 seconds before we began viewing it. All equipment involved was examined, foreign software and hardware as well as glitches, as if the timestamp involved may have been glitched or showed the wrong time, but everything checked out fine. We don't know what happened, and to this day nobody still does. There was an investigation into the nature of his photos, but nothing came of it. No child seen was identified, and no clues were gathered from the data involved, nor physical clues in the photos. I never believed in unexplainable phenomena before, but now that I have something happening and I can't prove anything about it beyond anecdotal evidence, I think twice about things. Wow, that was Squidward Suicide. I hope you guys enjoy that. I did too. That was another one of my favorite creepypastas of all time. Not too high up there, but it's pretty high up there. So if you liked it, if you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya!